I am the dark-hued bitch. See how wide my maw, my blood-mood eyes. And by daylight, see the tangles and knots of my riverine hair. I am the bad daughter, the freedom fighter, the shaper of death masks. I am the snake. I am the crone. I am the caretaker of ancient trees. I am the winged tick-tick, 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 tick-tick. I am close. And from under the floorboards, the grunting black pig. I am the encroaching wilderness, the bowels of these mountains. I am the opposite of your blessed womb. I am your inverted mirror. Guard your unborn children. Burn me with your seed and salt. Upend me, bend my body, cleave me beyond function. Blame me. Aswang by Barbara Jane Reyes.
In the archipelago of the Philippines, various horrors stalk the jungles and mountains in the night. These are grotesque creatures, always searching for human victims to devour. Tonight, we explore the Aswang on this gut-wrenching episode of Snipe Hunt. Yay.
Welcome back to another edition of Snipe Hunt, your frightening folklore podcast. I am your non-shape-shifting host, Darren Young.
And I am your non-blood-sucking host, Gary Clevenstein. Tonight, we are doing a creepy creature double feature, starring some foul, freakish, fiends from the Philippines.
All right. Yes, we are. And we're still recording remotely. So we don't have our usual setup. So if you hear some background noise or some echoes, just ignore it. It's fine. It's fine. You'll still get all the information you need. Yeah, it does sound better than last time. You got a new microphone that we can use. I feel like I should tell you that on Google Docs, you have now been changed to Anonymous Rabbit.
Oh, sweet.
I like Anonymous Leopard better, but they both work.
Anonymous Rabbit.
But before we get into tonight's subject, we actually have some listener mail. Woo!
Yay!
This was sent to us from Stephen J.
Hey, I work in Woodstock, Georgia at BJ's, and I listen to podcasts all day, every day I work. And I came by your podcast 3 days ago when I saw the Glitches episode on Pandora. I now binge listen to you. I love you guys, and I feel connected and very close to you guys. What is the best platform to listen to y'all on? Because Pandora messes up a lot. I give y'all 2,000 stars. Sincerely, Steven. You know what, Steven? You are my new favorite person.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much.
This is a dude we don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea
Legit,
who you are.
No. Hey.
Well, we do now. You listen to the podcast.
Nice.
You work at BJ's. But thank you so much for emailing us. I think I replied to this on the email as far as the best platform to listen to us on. Just the default Apple Podcasts app is great.
That is where I like it. Yeah.
And I think Steven sent it from an iPhone, so you should have that. I actually use a app called Podcast Addict. It's a little weird to look at, but once you get everything added, it's perfect for it.
Yeah, so, I've noticed on the iOS platform that definitely the standard podcast app is the best.
Oh yeah,
that's what I use.
Purple icon right there.
Mm-hmm. And then Podbean's all right. I never had a problem with them.
Yeah, that's our host site. So shout out to Podbean for hosting us.
Yes,
your app's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
can't complain.
I'm used to friends juicing us up, but
right, yeah,
to have a stranger, that's nice. It's nice. I made my night.
Yeah, thank you. This is the first time we've gotten 2,000 stars before, so I really appreciate that.
That'll help tremendously.
Well, thank you so much, Stephen. And thank you, Stephen, for sending that email. Like we say at the end of every episode, if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us on social media or email us at snipehuntpodcast@gmail.com. And with that, let's get into it. Tonight, we are talking about two closely related creatures in Filipino folklore. I believe they are pronounced the Aswang, not the Aswang, Gary, and the Mononogal.
Aswang is so easy to say.
Yeah, it's the Aswang and the banana gal. Banana gal. That's what it is. Sorry about the intense poem and the cold opening, but I loved it and had to use it to introduce these devils. We'll also mention other similar monsters, but these are definitely the main focus. This episode will get just a little bit gruesome if the cold opening wasn't an indicator of the intensity. Some listener discretion is advised. It's really not that bad, though. All right, so let's go ahead and get in with the Aswang. What is it exactly?
All right, the Aswang. It's so hard not to say Aswang.
I know,
All
especially when you're reading it right there. You're like, yes, that's definitely Aswang. And it definitely, the 12-year-old in me is like...
All right, so Aswang is an umbrella term for all kinds of supernatural creatures in the Philippines. Aswang is derived from the Sanskrit word asura, which means demon. The term can apply to a variety of monsters, but generally falls into one of several of 5 categories, which we will list now.
That's right. The first of the category is the vampire. The vampire Aswang often takes the shape of a beautiful woman and sucks the blood of its victims using a sharp proboscis-like tongue. This Aswang can blend in with the community and will even marry and use the husband as a constant food source, slowly draining his blood over time. For you non-entomology nerds, a proboscis is like the thing that mosquitoes use to suck your blood. It's just it's a long tube, often sharpened at the end so it can pierce skin. So that's how they suck blood.
I was just going to say, that just sounds like a female.
I hate my wife.
All right. And then we have the witch. The witch Aswang is human, but aims to transform into an Aswang in order to increase its power. Similar to witches in other cultures, they often live on the outskirts of town and bestow curses on their victims. These curses often cause objects like bones or insects to forcefully exit the body of its victims through the body's various orifices.
Gross.
I automatically think of the butthole. I don't know why.
Well, you read orifice and it doesn't really give you much choice. That's kind of the first thing you go to.
One can identify a witch by their eyes, as they have elongated irises that reflect images upside down.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure all, maybe not the irises, but the pupils themselves will reflect stuff upside down if you look into someone else's eyes. I could be wrong on that. Maybe not.
No, I think
maybe it's just witches, or maybe everyone is a witch.
Yeah, that could be it. Yep.
Could be it.
I believe it.
All right, so next we have the werebeast. Like other Aswang, masquerades as a human by day and infiltrates villages. Then at night, it transforms into a terrifying beast, most often a dog, but sometimes a boar or a cat. In beast form, it will then kill and eat people on the road, most often pregnant women. One can become a werebeast by consuming food infected with werebeast saliva. Pregnant women can protect themselves from this Aswang by wearing their hair down. Because reasons.
They're not into that, huh?
Yeah, I guess not.
I kind of dig it. But.
I mean, I guess it's not as tasty looking because when you're trying to eat something and all that hair just gets in the way.
That's true.
See?
Yeah, I hate food. I hate hair in my food.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm on board now. I'm on board. Okay, next we have the ghoul. The ghoul is the vulture of the Aswang. It is not a predator, but a scavenger, as it lives near cemeteries in order to consume freshly buried bodies. They are described as humanoid, but often remain out of sight. They have long, sharp nails to help dig up graves and sharp teeth that cut easily through flesh.
So these are probably the least threatening. Oh, barks.
Hey, we're going to get that a few times in mine too. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's not any better because we're watching Susan's parents' dog. So,
so you guys do that a lot. You need to open your own business.
Yeah, honestly. But anyway, the ghoul is the least threatening of all of these. They're probably not, great to look at, but they're not going to hunt you down and kill you either. So, all right. And then we saved the grossest Aswang for last. the viscera sucker. I mean, honestly, do I need to say more than its name?
Where do I need to get me one of these? Hey. All right. Carry on. I'll see myself out.
We're not recording in the morning anymore, so we're not like just woken up. So we're a little bit wound up, I guess. So the sucker's diet consists of the internal organs of its victims and the phlegm of the sick. Gross. I think
this is like a perfect time for that then.
I know, like, yeah, this is the perfect time because I'm pretty sure coronavirus built up phlegm. So there you go.
A bunch.
I guess it likes one better than the other. I think it just takes the phlegm if it can't get. Although I don't know how to get the phlegm. Anyway, let's finish this. It consumes the organs and or phlegm using a proboscis-like tongue, like the vampire, only it's not sharp like the vampires. Like its cousins, it disguises itself during the day as an attractive pale woman, but by night it takes on a hideous form. But more on that later.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the 5 categories in a nutshell.
Right, well, Aswangs are inherently evil creatures and have no motive behind their primal urge to feed on humans. How can we protect ourselves, you're asking? Well, first, keep an ear out. They often make hunting calls when they are nearby, most often sounding like tick tick or whack whack. It's like, or walk walk, whatever you want.
Waka waka.
Waka waka. There are also a variety of different objects that can act as Aswang repellent, but we will only list a few notable ones here. Examples include the tail of a stingray, crikey, large crustaceans. I'm sorry. Right. Yeah. Large crustaceans, vinegar, garlic, betel nut chew, and, of course, urine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, urine works as a great repellent for pretty much everything. So, and for the betel nut chew, it's either betel or beetle. I'm not sure exact pronunciation, but it's like exactly what it sounds like. It's kind of nut, and you kind of like chew it up, or you chew the leaves, or something like that. And then it produces like a high similar to tobacco. So it's just kind of like, jungle tobacco is basically what it is. And this is the thing I don't get about these creatures. Like most like vampires and Aswang, but Aswang obviously share a lot of common ground with vampires, but they have like so many weaknesses. Like, how are they even a threat?
Right.
Because vampires, you got garlic, you got silver, you got salt, you got holy. I mean, honestly.
And I've got all the urine in the world, dude.
Yeah. It's just the most convenient of all of these is because you already have
easy is accessible.
Yeah, so if you need to walk around at night, just drink a pint of water beforehand, you're good to go.
Right. One can also make an anti-Aswang. Why do I keep spelling it wrong?
Aswang.
Or I keep saying it wrong. Yeah. One can also make an anti-Aswang oil.
Yes, now is the part of the show where we go into the cooking section. So welcome to Frightening Folklore Cooking with your chef, Gary Clevenstein.
Well, the recipe calls for one, to pick a coconut on a tree and watch it grow to size.
And you have to watch it.
Yes, you have to watch it. That's the key. Then it must be picked at twilight during a full moon.
Okay.
Only. This is important. Okay?
Okay.
Twilight during a full moon when it is wet and chilly.
Okay, so it can't be dry or warm?
No. Humidity is no.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Gotcha. Okay? The coconut then must be grated and its juice must be squeezed out. Now, this is tough because coconuts are stupid hard.
Yeah, especially when you try like squeezing by hand.
Yeah. So you need to just figure out how to drill into the core.
Yeah, just become Superman real quick.
And then boil the mixture until it reduces to oil. Okay. Now this, you should have a few of these up in your brain, but you need to recite a secret prayer. Okay. And throw all the waste into the ocean so that Aswang cannot trace whoever made the oil. Now, some people might frown upon this. It might be considered littering. I don't know. But, coconut shells and stuff are usually
it's biodegradable. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. The oil should then be hung at the door of the house, and it will boil when an Aswang is near. Okay.
You know, that's all real interesting and all, but that honestly, that just sounds like coconut oil with extra steps.
Right.
I'm not going to lie.
Or just go buy a jar of coconut oil, whatever.
No, you have to do all this yourself, or else it's just coconut oil and not Aswang repellent.
Now, I know what y'all are thinking. You've just totally forgot everything I just said about the coconuts and stuff.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because you're wondering, how do witches transform into Aswang? Well,
I've been wondering that this whole episode.
Yeah, I would too, honestly.
I mean, we're on page 2. I'm like, why hasn't he gotten to the part about how witches turn into Aswang?
All right. Your patience has paid off.
Yes.
Okay? There are a variety of ways, but one of the easiest is to place a fertilized chicken egg onto your stomach.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. I can get myself one of those.
And secure it there with a piece of cloth wrapped around your body.
Gotcha.
Okay? So if you have one of them like waist trainers or something, that'll work.
Yeah, I'm assuming we don't want to crack the egg, though.
That's true. That's true.
So do it without cracking it.
Yeah. After some time, the egg supposedly passes into the stomach through the skin and muscle like some sort of osmosis. So that part might be a little painful.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't like specify how long it would take, so maybe it's like kind of like halfway, and maybe it takes like a week, and like by Wednesday it's just like kind of like halfway sticking out. I don't know.
It's kind of like putting a potato on was it like a wart? Putting a piece of potato on a wart. It's supposedly
the wart transfers into potato.
Yeah,
and then you have a wart potato you can cook up and eat for later.
Yeah. Then the ritual caster becomes an Aswang. God. Becomes an Aswang.
I mean, that too. I mean, why not? It seems legit. I mean, I think it's worth trying.
Wait, so I don't understand. Like this explanation, I'm kind of confused.
Okay,
it says, how do they transform into it? So they do this?
Yes. So they do this, and then boom, you're an Aswang. It didn't like specify if you get to like pick what kind of Aswang you become. It seems like most become the Viscera sucker, but we'll get to that later.
It just seems like an awful. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to be an Aswang that bad to go through that.
I mean, honestly, that method is relatively simple. I mean, it's not like as convoluted as making coconut oil is. So, I think you have to have the intent of becoming an Aswang. I think you really need to want it. You can't just like half-ass this and be like, "Am I an Aswang yet? It's not working."
It's not working. Good news. There's another way.
Oh, thank God.
You can go to a cemetery at night during Good Friday.
Okay.
Only Good Friday.
Yeah.
And place a fertilized egg under each armpit.
Okay, this seems familiar.
Fresh eggs.
Yeah. But make sure they're fertilized.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't
go to Walmart and grab a pack of eggs and try to do this, because that's not going to work.
Mm-mm. Then, your parents already told you not to stare at the sun, but you're going to stare at the moon.
Okay. That's doable.
Stare at the moon without blinking and mumble certain words.
Yeah, I didn't really specify what words, but so I guess just be like, please, Aswang. Or maybe just say Aswang over and over again. That's what you need to do.
And then
exactly like that.
This is the tricky part, because they're in your armpits.
Right.
So when the eggs pass into your stomach, you have became an Aswang.
Bam.
Aswang.
Instantly.
So,
well, see, this one, it seems like there is some sort of time frame, because you have to go on Good Friday. So it sounds like the remainder of Good Friday that's when you do your transformation. But I mean,
do they go into your armpits and then into your stomach?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Correct.
All right.
And I read this on one source. I don't think I put it in here, but supposedly the chick hatches and lives inside you and stays alive throughout the entire time. So, I don't know. That could be just like one version of it, but I guess that's how you become an Aswang. Yeah. So now as the Snipe Hunt podcast, we're not going to recommend this. We're not going to condone becoming a bloodthirsty monster, but hey, it's a free country. So,
but if you do it, Snipe Hunt podcast at gmail.com.
Absolutely. Let us know how that goes. So how did the legend of the Aswang start? Many legends, the origins are unsure, but a lot of the sources I read pointed out that the Aswangs often represented the opposite of Filipino values. What specific values I could not find. I guess the traditional value of not killing and eating people. So there's that. Also, like other folklore, the creation of these creatures probably came from many different origins. Everything from simple cautionary tales to victims inflicted by physically visible diseases. One brief mention of a disease I found, which is confined to only that area, most likely due to genetics, is called X-linked dystonia Parkinsonism, XDP. It's a genetic form of dystonia found almost entirely among males of Filipino descent. According to the most recent studies, 93% of current cases today are located on Panay Island, with 63% of those being located in Capiz, which are obviously both points within the Philippine Islands. And I meant to put what dystonia was, but I don't have it pulled up. So let me just. But the Parkinsonism, that's just Parkinson's. So you know that part.
Let me ask our listeners: am I the only one that thought
Not just
Panay Island?
Panay.
Yeah, Panay. Panay.
Well, I'll tell you what. Even when I was writing it, I wasn't thinking about that.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. No, I wasn't thinking about that.
Oh,
okay, so dystonia causes muscle contractions and twisting and stuff like that. So it's obviously very physical, so that can lead to the belief in that someone is an Aswang. So individuals diagnosed with this disease exhibit a, quote, transforming state, which results in their bodies twisting, tongues protruding from their mouths, and they salivate profusely. Unfortunately, this disease usually brands the afflicted as Aswangs and are often exiled because of it. That was easy. Which prevents treatment of the individual. So it's kind of sad, but so that's where we get like the long tongue of the Aswang from, I guess. Maybe from that transforming state, the salivating and the weird body horror transformation going on. But unfortunately, it's just a disease. And unfortunately, they do not usually get treatment. So another interesting probable origin I found is in a book titled Balut, Fertilized Eggs and the Making of a Culinary Capital in the Filipino Diaspora by Margaret, I'm going to go with Magat, M-A-G-A-T. But what a title. So Balut,
maggot.
Balut also in here is also, it's a fertilized egg that's allowed to partially grow. And then when you get a semblance of a chicken in there, that's when you cook it and eat it. It's really gross, but it's a delicacy over there. So I'm not judging. I'm just saying I've never eaten it my entire life. Anyway, so that actually might play into, having the egg passing into your body and maybe the chick living there. So maybe Balut has something to do with the Aswang origin, which I think she actually mentioned in the book here. I didn't actually read the book, but anyway, Margaret, the author, writes that the first recorded instance of an Aswang, recorded instance being the key here, was written down in 1582 by Spanish explorer Miguel de Lorca, who relayed that the belief that in these creatures were prevalent among the people of the Philippines, but did not write much more than that. With the arrival of famous explorer Ferdinand Magellan, I've heard of him, it seems that the Spanish explorers started to associate the Aswang with the respected female shamans of the region known as Balin, in an intentional effort to discredit them. So here's an excerpt from author Herminia Menez's book, Explorations in Philippine Folklore, which explains that Spanish colonizers, quote, dealt with recalcitrant female shamans not only as religious rivals, but as females whose sexual powers, in their view, needed to be subjugated under male authority, end quote. So this claim does seem to have a lot of merit, as it coincides with chronicles written by missionaries from the Jesuit, Augustinian, and Franciscan orders, who all painted the Balin as immoral women in league with the devil. Like Christian colonizers in many other parts of the world, they demonized the local beliefs in order to mass convert the natives to the Christian doctrine. The Spanish would often destroy local sacred places and idols because they weren't Christian. This claim also seems to be further corroborated by the depiction of the Aswang in different regions. The female depiction, which was perpetrated by the Spanish explorers, seems to be most prominent in regions where Spanish colonization was more successful, whereas in other regions, the Aswang is most often depicted as just being disguised as an animal, so not really no females involved with that. I'm not trying to offend anyone or poo-poo on Christianity as a whole, so save your emails. I'm just reporting historical facts. But anyway, so that's how one version of the Aswang came to be Christian missionaries coming in and saying, nope, your beliefs are demons, our beliefs are right. Get over it.
I didn't feel like you were poo-pooing on anything.
Yeah, I
brother.
just, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Just reporting. Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, let's move on to a certain type of Aswang, the banana gal. I mean, the Manana Gal.
Banana Gal.
Manana Gal.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Despite its fun name, the Manana Gal is anything but fun. Its name is derived from the Filipino word tanggal, which means to separate. This creature is an Aswang. Why can't I get that?
It's a two-syllable word. It's not even like spelled weirdly.
I know. This creature is an Aswang that falls under the viscera sucker category.
My favorite.
By day, the Mananagal's powers are severely weakened, so it disguises itself as a beautiful woman. But come nightfall, the demon reveals its true, frightening form.
Also, I like how you can perfectly pronounce Manana Gal, but then
I know.
Aswang comes up and you're like, nope, can't do it.
Yep, can't do it. Nope. It finds a safe and isolated location and sprouts large bat-like wings from its back. It then separates its body at the waist and takes flight, leaving the waist and everything below it behind.
Weird.
The top half is now a gruesome sight.
Oh no.
It retains its womanly appearance, but now its long, red, proboscis tongue is visible, and its membranous wings carry it through the air. Its organs remain in the torso, but seem to trail behind it as it flies, like some sort of visceral banner.
Gross.
It's also depicted in this form to have an ugly, monstrous face, sharp teeth, and long claws on its hands.
Okay, so it's the upper half of the body with bat wings growing out of the back, and then it's got its organs, dangling below it, and then it's got its long tongue out and sharp teeth and claws. Okay, that's interesting. Definitely really can't compare that to another creature in folklore that I know of, but we'll certainly try later on.
At this point, the vampire is on the hunt, often finding newlyweds or couples in love, because that's when everything's so right.
Oh yeah, that's when the emotions are at their height.
But pregnant women are its main target.
Of course they are.
It will land on the roof and extend its long, flexible proboscis down to and suck out the blood of the fetus. Let's say so it'll suck blood or
it prefers the fetus, but it'll take blood if it's the only thing it can get it from the sleeping victim.
Much more. I'm sure that it's probably more tender.
So make sure you don't have any like cracks in your roof or holes in your roof.
Yeah.
Or if you do, maybe you'll just wake up and you'll see a long proboscis go.
It is a way worse problem than possums in the attic or squirrels.
Yeah, just a little bit. Can you imagine you just wake up in the middle of the night like, the Manana Gal are on the roof again.
Oh, I'll be back, honey. Just keep watch.
Can't get one dang good night of sleep.
So, what about the Mananagal's lower half, you ask?
I do ask. What about the Mananagal's lower half?
While the vampire is now at its most powerful in this form, it is also at its most vulnerable. Because its lower half is discovered, it can be fatal for the creature. Sprinkling salt, smearing crushed garlic or ash on top of the standing torso will prevent the Mananagal, from rejoining the two halves. And as a result, it'll die from the rising of the sun.
Okay, so it is very much like a vampire where you can use garlic and then as soon as the sun comes out, it's like...
It's kind of like a slug too, right?
Yeah, but it can walk around in daylight, but it has to be joined together.
Although known to lure in men with its womanly charms, the Mananagal's favorite prey is pregnant women. But why? Why, do you ask? Like all vampires, they feed on the life force of their prey. A pregnant woman might just be the ultimate image of life force, and therefore, it'll offer more substance than other victims. And I'm pretty sure that a fetus is probably really tender. It's probably like veal.
It's okay, Gary.
So, sorry. This preference might also reflect the cultural belief that Aswangs are also violent, evil, and irredeemable.
Always violent.
Yes.
And also violent. So it's just basically, oh my god, they're so evil.
Evil!
Evil! Okay, so now let's get to tonight's dramatic reading. The following is an allegedly true story posted by Reddit user HollyX Turned Me On. No comment on the name. Here's why I play my dramatic music.
I'm ready.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right, go.
I was born and raised in the Philippines, and growing up, my grandparents often told me and my cousins stories of our rich, fear-filled culture. One in particular, of the female monster we call the Mananagal. Now in our village, stories went that every once in a while, at around 3 a.m., a Mananagal visits in search of pregnant ladies. An indicator would be the distinct and pungent smell of fish sauce, and a sound of tick, 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 apparently they made as they fly. The thing about the ticking sound is that when it sounds faint or far, it actually means that the Mananagal is near. It is said that this was to confuse its victims. Now the story begins. I was 7 at the time, and while everyone else in the family was asleep, I somehow couldn't bring myself to follow suit. I was restless, with nothing in particular in my head keeping me awake. I remember just laying there in bed, staring at the ceiling, when suddenly I hear a noise. Confused, I sat on my bed and looked around. Nothing but darkness. I listened again. Tick, tick, tick. My eyes went wide open. If I knew how to swear at this time of my life, the F's would be flying. I slammed my head back into the pillow, and as what kids normally would do, I covered myself up in my blanket, trembling in fear. The noise kept ticking. My heart was beating out of my chest, and I was on the verge of tears. I was weighing the options between screaming for my mom or not, because screaming might alert something that might eat me up, that I'm wide awake. I can't let that happen. The ticking noise went away slowly, as if the one making it was fleeing away. I sighed with relief. I calmed a bit and made the biggest mistake of my life, forgetting that when the tick-tick goes far, it means the Mananagal was near. I removed my cover, and bricks were shit. The bitch's grinning face was on my window, her bloodthirsty eyes looking into my frozen, wide eyes. Mother of Jesus, I screamed, and noped the fuck out of my room. I ran into my mother's room, where she welcomed me into an embrace. By then, I think I may have passed out of fear. The next morning, my mother asked me what happened, and I told her. She laughed at me and told me how imaginative kids are, and how cute it was. This is why I still have my doubts even after her face is scarred into my memory. The thing is, though, at that moment, when my pregnant Yaya, maid, served us food and overheard our conversation, I saw her freeze, and her eyes went wide. She looked at me and said, "You saw her too?" Dun dun dun.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Mom's an ass.
Oh, yeah, they're like, oh, we're going to tell you all about our Filipino culture. I saw an Aswang. Oh, you rascal, you.
All right. Let's talk about relatable.
Well,
not
I mean,
relatable.
Yeah, probably not relatable in this case.
Not relatable.
I would disagree with that.
Let's talk about related
Let's talk
creatures.
about that.
Quick honorable mentions. These are also Aswang, but don't seem to be nearly as widely known or as feared as others. In fact, the Mananagal seems to usually start out as a witch or sorceress before transforming into the vampiric creature, and often keeps these Aswangs as pets.
Ooh, yeah, I'm excited to hear about the Aswang pets that are Aswang but are also owned by Aswang. Okay, first we have the Wakwak, which we sort of mentioned the noise it makes earlier in this episode. So the Wakwak is a huge bird with wings as sharp as a knife. It also sports huge talons, which it uses to tear at its human prey in order to eat the heart. It is called a Wakwak due to the sound its wings make when it flies. Waka waka.
I just imagine it flying.
Honestly, that would be terrifying if you knew what it belonged to.
All right.
So the best way to avoid it is to only be outside of the daytime, or you can pretty easily scare it off with a torch.
Sounds like these things are pretty. I'm not afraid
Yeah,
yet.
I mean, I guess that's why they're the pets of other Aswangs, because you're kind of like lesser than, you know?
Yeah. Now, the next Aswang is called the Sick
Oh,
Bin.
that's scary sounding.
Sounds
Almost as scary sounding as the Waka Waka.
The Sick Bin is an ugly quadrupedal creature that resembles a hybrid between a goat and a dog.
The horror. That sounds kind of cute, actually.
It does not have a horned head, but has large ears, which it can clap together, and a long tail it can use as a whip.
Okay, so it's a goat and a dog, which are both debatably cute by themselves, and then it has large ears, which it claps together. Is this thing supposed to be like not scary?
I guess pets are just supposed to be cute.
I guess
I guess Aswang, even though they're big and scary, they have cute pets too.
There you go.
It is said that some rich families own these magical creatures and keep the Sigbin in jars of clay.
Easy storage options. Just put it like under your bed or in a closet. You don't have to worry about it.
I wish I could do that to all these damn dogs. It has the power to become invisible, but it cannot hide its nauseating odor. Its odor. It's nauseating odor. It comes out to also hunt for human hearts, but uses them to fashion amulets.
Yeah, I couldn't exactly find what the amulets are for or how it fashioned the amulets, considering it's a goat dog, but I guess it uses its large ears.
Mm-hmm. It's just bling bling.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, sometimes you just need to look good as you kill people. I don't think I mentioned this part, but yeah, I meant to put that part. So, and not just human hearts, but like the heart of kids. They need like specific like kid victims because they're evil. Yeah, there you go.
They've been to Chuck E. Cheese on a Saturday, I can see.
Yeah, the nauseating odor. Yeah, I can see it. So the Mananagal share similarities with other creatures we've covered before, the obvious one being a traditional vampire. Both consume blood from live victims. Both are associated with bats, and both have similar weaknesses, such as holy items and garlic, as we've mentioned a few times already. But there is one that it might even be related to, one that we covered back in the Yokai minisode, the Nuke Kubi. Now, you weren't there for that minisode because, it's a minisode, but you were there for the first one. So I know you listened to the minisode.
Listened to all of them.
So I don't know if you remember the Nuke Kubi at all, but why don't you give us a little description?
Okay. I'll just briefly describe it. Okay. Just this is as a refresher. It's a Japanese yokai whose name translates into removable neck. By day, it's a normal human woman. Why is it always a woman?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's because these Christians come. But no.
But dude,
I didn't think we mentioned before how like folklore is like super, super sexist, and how all these monsters are actually disguise themselves as women to lure the poor, unsuspecting men to their deaths.
I say all of these people who come up with this stuff, they were all married at some point.
Exactly.
So by day, it's a normal human woman, but due to a curse, it transforms into a yokai at night. When darkness falls, the monster awakens. The head of the woman detaches from the body and flies through the night, looking to drain the blood of some unsuspecting victim. By sunrise, the head returns to the body and reattaches itself. The woman is often unaware of her head's nighttime activities. You'd think you'd like, I slept with my neck.
You're like, oh man, my neck is killing me.
There's no known relation between the creatures. Excuse me.
Oh, you're dying over there?
The similarities were too close for us not to mention.
Yeah, and another little link between the yokai and the Aswang is they both are similar terms. Both are like kind of umbrella terms to describe really anything supernatural. So like anything from witches to ghosts, evil spirits, monsters, all that stuff. So if you guys haven't listened to the yokai episodes yet, the cold opening of the main episode is kind of rough because our guest was reading it and it didn't turn out very well. But it's actually like one of my favorite episodes. So definitely go listen to it if you haven't already.
It's true. Yeah, the cold openings are hit and miss.
Yeah.
When we have guests,
Exactly. That's why they're not allowed to do them anymore, except for maybe Sam. He did really well.
Dude, Sam can do it. I mean, though I'm still salty he didn't respond to me on Facebook, but whatever, he's a dick.
He doesn't respond to me very much either, so it's all right.
But another closely related spirit is like a combination between the Nuke Kubi.
You got it.
And the Banana
Gal.
It's Banana. Yeah. It's a bean from Cambodia and Laos called the Krasu.
No, the Krasu. Oh man. So the Krasu is a woman who lived a sinful life. Jesus Christ. We can't get away from it. Okay. She lived a sinful life and was cursed because of it. After death, the woman is reborn as a Krasu. Like its Japanese cousin, the Krasu separates at the neck, and like its Filipino cousin, the internal organs come out with it. So the ones I've seen, it's just like, it's got like the neck. Sometimes the neck goes away and you just see the spine, and that keeps like the lungs and the heart. It's pretty gnarly looking. So it glows with a ghostly glow and floats about with an insatiable hunger. On a good night, it will devour the fetus of a pregnant woman using a proboscis tongue. Sounds familiar. On a bad night, it will settle for the blood and flesh of cattle. And then on a really bad night, it will force itself to eat carrion or feces to satisfy its ravenous hunger. So definitely similar to a viscera eater.
I've never been that hungry.
I mean, but then again, you don't have the same dietary needs as a Krasu.
That's true.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's definitely similar to a viscera eater Aswang, but definitely seems more ghost-like. One really defining factor is it glows, so that kind of harkens back to spook lights. But every culture has its own version of a spook light, and this one just happens to be the most terrifying. It's fine. Due to attacks on cattle, the Krasu, also called the Penanggalan in Malaysia, so that's also similar to Mananagal as far as name-wise, has been compared to the famous Chupacabra. Here's an unsighted quote as posted on the Cryptid Wiki fandom page.
I live in Indonesia in West Java. There were reports of such attacks on goats and sheep in some areas on my island. Some sheep or goats were dead, with no blood left. They were not eaten, only their blood was sucked until dry. No predators known in my area do this kind of attack, but we don't know what attacked the sheep. People began to lock the cages, but it seemed that the animal or animals could open the keys or the bolts to the cages. And to more shocking, some sheep were found outside the cages, dead, but the doors were not opened at all. Some of the sheep owners tried to guard their sheep and slept on the roof of the cages, but the attacks continued, without their noticing anything, so people began to get scared. And they even put the sheep inside their houses to keep them safe. The attacks didn't happen very often, but since it was weird, it appeared in the local newspapers. I don't live near the attacks, so I never saw what they looked like. The attacks mostly happened when the dry season got too long, and it happened in areas close to the jungle. There were always many sheep dead in one attack, about 7 to 20 sheep. There are chupacabras in Indonesia too.
So they definitely believe in the Krasu or Mananagal, or of its ilk. Many actually believe that the Krasu and the Mananagal are the exact same creature, which I can see why, because they are very similar. That's it. I would have gone into more categories of Aswang, but they either had too little or too much information to fit in this episode. I definitely think the Viscera Sucker is the most unique and terrifying of all the Aswang. So what did you think about these crazy, creepy, crawly, flying creatures?
I thought they were fascinating.
Yeah, they're definitely one of the more unique versions of monsters.
Unique, but not scary. Not quite scary. I mean the ones with like the innards.
Oh yeah, the viscera. Yeah, those are straight up terrifying. They're like, as far as visually, as far as vampires go, visually, these are definitely the most scary ones I've come across.
And I just try to picture a woman's head just flying through the air.
Yeah.
It's like,
but also with organs trailing behind it too. So you don't just get that. So it's definitely creepy either way. I really think it's creepy, especially the detail.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are the Fiends of the Philippines.
that does it. Yeah. That's another one in the book. Another one for the books. Hopefully the audio comes out all right.
It sounds
like this
good
mic.
so
I really do. I hope so. And as our listeners, you know what to do. Just do all the things. Yeah. The rating thing. Yeah, the rating thing on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or wherever else you can leave a review where you listen to us. You can also include leaving a Facebook recommendation thing.
I like that thing.
I couldn't explain how to do that.
I mean, you just go to the page and there should be like a little recommendation thing at the top. You click on it and give us 5 stars. Wada bang, wada boom. We'll mention you on the air.
Bada bang, bada boom. Yeah, I've never done it.
We have a pretty high standard of our reviews now since Stephen J just left us like the best review ever. So
for real.
2,000 stars. I don't know how much you get much better than that.
Yeah, Stephen are best
if you do that,
now.
Good luck.
Darren, you're now second.
That's fair.
But yes, these reviews, like Stevens, they really they help
very
the
much
show.
So.
They do. They give us more Stevens. Yeah. Please follow us on social medias. We'd love to hear from you guys. We're on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instas and the YouTubes. Now, not a lot of those are very
That's
active.
Not true. I've actually been posting on them now. I think I had to recently reset the password for the Insta because it wouldn't let me back on. But the Twitter's active, the Facebook's active.
Well, I noticed your the pictures for the last episode. They came up like a week or 2 weeks after the episode.
No, I'm definitely going to put up pictures for this episode as well, but I'll definitely get them out in a more timely manner because this is a very visual episode. So you definitely have to post ones for these.
I just need if I can get access to them, I can post pictures.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
I can help
you should
out.
be able to access them.
I mean, I can't.
I think you're an admin on the Facebook
I'm
page.
Not I know the editory stuff kind of I suck at for the time being until I learn how to do that better. Now that I've got my new PC, I can start working on that
absolutely.
again.
So we're also on Patreon. You can get some sweet bonus content like blooper reel episodes.
Yeah.
I just uploaded the one for our last episode, whatever that was.
Really?
Yeah, what was the last episode? I literally just...
Hey, I had it in my head as a one.
Oh, man. God, we're stupid.
Why am I?
Anyway, new blooper reel episode up. Check it out. You can get access to that and topic voting for as little as $1 a month. Yeah. So, cool beans.
Yeah. And as usual, you guys know the spiel. If you have a topic suggestion, a question, a comment, some criticism, or if you have a story for us that you'd like us to share on our Encounter series, please contact us at snipehuntpodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on social media.
And as you can tell, we're not very good at ending our episodes unless it's written down. So I guess we will see you on the next hunt.
Hey, hold on just a second.
You got
just
something?
A second. Yes, I
I'm
got
excited.
something. If my internet won't be stupid. Oh, here it is. Hoaxed cryptids.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
That was
that's what I was thinking. I just didn't want to be wrong, so I didn't say anything.
All right.
We will talk to you guys later.
All right, later, guys. Deep in the dark, they wait for you. We can rest safe, knowing that the various Aswangs are confined to one country, and that they seem to be nothing more than stories and legends. But if you find yourself wandering the roads of the Philippines at night, that might not be a comforting thought. Just keep an ear out, for if you hear a faint, it may be too late. For you, at least. And you might be devoured by this frightening folklore. Once again, we want to thank you for listening to Snipe Hunt. Your listening has been noted and will be reported to the proper authorities. All audio used was done so under the protection of fair use.
Logo design is by Ethan Rothfuss. The music you heard in this episode was composed by Mayu and Nature World 1986. We'll continue to search for the unexplained, and we'll hopefully see you on the next hunt.
Podcast could use a little siren head.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. Daxton was. Can Daxton give us a suggestion real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Siren head.
All right. Come here. Come say it.
Siren head.
What is. Okay. So please explain.
I know what Siren Head is.
Siren head is a
I've been on the
big,
internet.
like, giant. Siren head is a big, humongous monster who has sirens for a head.
Okay.
And the sirens have mouths. Now, if it kills a human, it can manifest their voice, and it can suck into any radio station and, like, confuse you to come over to him. Like, if he kills someone, he can use their voice and say, help, help. And so when you come over to help, he just kills you.
Okay, so kind of like lures people
So
in.
pretty much, he's a really, really new, big creepypasta who everybody is liking.
Okay. Well, we might just have to do a creepypasta episode then.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thanks, Jackson.